Appreciate it very much, Madam Chair. Uh, Mr. Shea, you briefly mentioned how technology and AI have been used to combat threats to the Uyghurs by both China and Turkey. As co-chair of the International Religious Freedom Caucus, I've been a longtime advocate for the Uyghurs. So the importance of this really stuck with me. Can you talk more about how AI is being used or can be used to prevent human rights abuses, war crimes, and other acts of persecution?
I think the thing you can do with proper monitoring, you can make sure that adversaries aren't getting into your network, putting up fake base stations, doing other types of things that they're then using for surveillance. Because as you know, the problem with the fake base station is they grab a call and then suddenly the information going across there often can be deciphered. So I think it's important for us to provide the tools both to our partners and our country to be able to protect these networks to make sure that's not being used for hostile type intent.
Very good, thank you. At the same time as this, hearing, of course, you know, ENC is also having the oversight hearing on robocalls. So it's fitting to bring this topic up at this particular time, it's very important to my constituents. So again, with regard to robocalls, ever since the Trace Act was passed, I think the average American became familiar with how AI capabilities have addressed spam calls. So we made some progress. People can now see a likely spam message pop up when an unknown number calls, helping prevent fraud. And that is great progress. It really is toward protecting vulnerable people from identity thefts, but we have to do more. But actually catching these criminals continues to remain elusive, and prosecutions are rare, unfortunately. So, Mr. Pickering, how can AI be utilized to actually track down online and by phone criminals that are preying on our seniors in particular, and finally shut them down once and for all? If you could answer that question, we'd appreciate it.
The great thing about AI is if you give AI a problem, it will create a greater productive way and solution to attack any problem, whether it is fraud, criminal conduct, or finding a cure for cancer. It'll be faster, it'll be more productive, and it will be able to bring all the knowledge of any particular case to be able to solve it and to meet the objectives, whether it is in criminal justice or in national security or in energy or any other sector. And so the applications and the growth of our large language models and what comes next with the quantifiable language models is really going to be an ever-increasing way, whether it's robocalls or fraud, to be able to identify, authenticate, and recognize, identify bad actors, and then give tools to pursue them.
Very good, thank you. One more question for Mr. Pickering. One of my senior staffers just got back from a delegation trip to Israel, including the Gaza Strip. One of the items discussed with Israeli leaders was the potential of AI to help identify and address the significant rise in anti-Semitism online. And with recent events in Colorado, it's clearly not only something of importance to Israel, but a potential aid to a worldwide problem. Mr. Pickering, again, can you explain how AI is currently being used by your member companies to identify threats of violence and potentially prevent violence against religious groups, and what potential AI has in the near future to continue to address this particular issue? I know you touched on it, but if you could elaborate, I'd appreciate it.
This is a subject I'm not as familiar or have not been privy to those types of applications, but I'm confident if...
In general, yes.
In general, if there's an ability to, whether it is a prediction of a natural disaster or a cybersecurity or a potential crime, I think AI can be a resource and a tool for law enforcement, for national security, or for Homeland to be able to better predict or identify and then hopefully prevent disasters or attacks on the U.S. So we have to have again, this is why I think a federal framework in each category of the major questions so that we could use the full resources of the modernization of government services that include national security, cybersecurity, and homeland security.
Thank you. I yield back. Thank you.